I'm with Sudesh Shetty. Sudesh, very interesting panel today. And since you were the moderator of the panel, a very important question. What is it that everybody has brought out? And more importantly, what is that one factor that they haven't brought out during the discussion?
So, thank you for having me on board. Well, if I have to put forward the two things that came out very significantly. One was, is it a clear and present danger? Well, it is a clear and present danger for the Indian pharma industry. 483s, warning letters and import alerts is the norm right now. And more than before, this is what's being seen by multiple pharmaceutical companies in India. This is something that the panel brought out quite adequately. But what was also interesting to see is the CDSCO was also quite proactive. While you don't hear about it in the media, well, they are doing their inspections. They are 470 odd strong, and they will be inspecting plant after plant for compliance. And that is a critical state for us. And that is important because compliance as seen by the country is visible when the CDSO shows action on ground. So that's something that came out quite evidently in the conversation. What didn't come out, or probably where we actually had to touch more, is the interdepartment collaboration. When I talk about interdepartment, it's not within the regulators, but among regulators. So when it comes to a US FDA and its collaboration with MHRA or TGA or Health Canada or any other regulator outside India, how are they sharing information? How much of it comes back to the CDSCO? What is going on in that front is something that's not visible. But what we heard very clearly is that there is collaboration and they are exchanging information. So that's the clear impression.
And in fact, during the conversation that we just had, you were talking about costs and the implications of costs, which are not generally brought out by companies. So can you elaborate on this point further?
So if you are in the radar of the US FDA, well, you have received a 483. Your response, your remediation, and your actual action on ground is all at a cost. And this cost is over and above what you're having as a production cost. This cost involves a legal entity coming in, that's a law firm coming in. You have your ex-FTAs or GMP consultants who come in, and these are the independent third parties who are essentially helping you certify what you have as processes, that is SOPs, as well as what you have as systems in your environment, being compliant to 21 CFR Part 11 or not. This is an overburden on compliance, because compliance otherwise is ensuring that the systems are validated and the batches are going as per the set processes. Not being compliant, you have to have the external agencies come and certify the same again. So you have a team in-house which is doing this activity within your QA function and your QC function, and now you have an external agency also doing the similar function.
So you're saying the cost implication is basically because you've not done what you had to do in the beginning, and therefore now you're facing all these hurdles. Whereas if the same thing was done, the compliance issues were met much earlier and the quality standards were met, we wouldn't have faced this.
Yes.
So what is the problem? Why are we still, are you seeing a genuine gap in Indian companies intentionally not meeting quality standards? I mean, why is it left to the 483s?
So there is a skill gap somewhere when it comes to really managing what requires to be managed from a training perspective. The individuals, the analysts on ground who are performing these tests are one side at fault. The people on the shop floor who are performing the actual documentation, they are the people who are at fault. But there is a larger problem as well that is not spoken about that often, which is if the product is at a flaw at the R&D level, the product will be a flaw at the manufacturing level as well. And if this flaw is existent, then the team that is trying to produce this product will have to go about doing deviations that they do without documenting, because they're trying to get the product out the way it needs to come out. So that's the two extremes that you would actually come across, and this is something that we've seen time and again. Either the product as such, while it's compliant to manufacture it the way we manufacture, there is a challenge So deviations are brought forward. That's the challenge that we see coming forth.
This was from the regulations perspective. How do you overall see the performance of the Indian pharmaceutical sector? And we've seen it grow at a very exponential rate. What is the need of the hour to maintain this pace?
Automation. That's the need of the hour. What we are trying to achieve, we will achieve, but there would be a lot of automation required. And this would reduce the margin of error that comes in with the manual intervention. So we are getting into the age, we are getting into the time where we are talking about 3D printing coming into play very soon, where an individual, basis what his composition is, would define out what needs to be done as treatment and then get about the medicine that he needs. So there is this paradigm shift that's going to come very soon. In the next 3 to 5 years, this is where we would be all be looking at as the manufacturing of Indian pharmaceutical industry moving.
Also, India has always been known as a leader in generics. Why haven't we seen the same performance across bulk drugs, equipment manufacturing, and many more?
The question about generics and then the moving into bulk drugs or in terms of equipments requires a certain set of skill set and engineering that we've not embarked on. Now that could be a reason for not getting the actual permissions from a government side, the encouragement that was not there before, the red tapeism that existed, or the second is the knowledge or the know-how did not exist as yet. We are seeing a change in both of it. We are seeing active players coming down, looking at investment in India, thanks to the initiative from Government of India of having Make in India as a policy. And we are also seeing the reverse drain that's happening in the US, where skilled professionals who know what needs to be done and how it needs to be done are looking at India as their home and want to come back and bring this with them. So it's going to happen soon.
Well, thank you so much, Sudesh. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure having myself out here.